Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Ethereum, see what's going on. Not only do I get a lot of requests for this one, I'm also wanting to kind of explain why we took a short here recently as a community with this coin. Now, I'm not going to try to convince you on reasons to take a short, reasons to take a long. Anytime I look at the charts, I look at them abstractly and understand that it's best not to attach yourself to a specific bias. But the truth is, I feel like Bitcoin is on its way to pull back a little bit further, or on its way to pull back, or is ready to pull back, however you want to word it. That seems like a likelihood. And if you're not sure about that, check out my Bitcoin video so you understand what I mean by that. And at this point, what we're going to do is just kind of look at the we're going to look at the charts and talk a little bit about areas of opportunity and or just what to look for in either direction, essentially. So welcome aboard if you're new to the channel. If you've been watching for a while, thank you again so much for the excellent support. Coming up on 4 years of working in this industry. Obviously, actually, I've been in the industry for almost 20 years, but my YouTube channel was created in early 21. So either way you look at it, I deeply appreciate you. I also love it when you hit the like button, maybe even comment below. Helps get this in front of more people, so less Moon Boys get those views. Not that they don't deserve the views, because they work hard for their money, but they generally get a lot more views because they're telling everyone that things are just going to go up nonsensically. And at this point, we can't be ridiculously bullish because there's a lot of shifts in momentum that are occurring on the back end. We want to look at that. So back in data, let's talk about that first. This is liquidation levels, last 7 days on the left, 30 on the right. When we see here, we look up to the top, we can see 3450 to 3550-ish, 3600. There is a large chunk liquidation. So there's a lot of people that could have a bad day if the price goes up to that level. Keep in mind that's a ways away, right? And the further away liquidation is, the less likely it is to get hit, or depending on the direction, the overall momentum, that can change some. But the whole point of me kind of bringing this to your attention is just that it's quite obvious that this $2,800 to $2,900 range has a tremendous amount of liquidation too. So this basically just means there's way too many longs in the market here right now, and a lot of longs are going to have a bad day. Like each one of these bars is $1.5 billion in liquidation, maybe even $2 billion depending on which ones you look at, right? So if you add all this up, that's a lot of liquidation. I don't have the time to add that up, but the truth is some longs are going to have a bad day here because a lot of late longs, unfortunately, will use high leverage, and that's what's getting hit right now. Most of these here that got hit at 30.50, those are ones that had high leverage, and they just got swept really quick. So the moral of the story here is to use low leverage, low position size. It helps you survive the ebbs and flows of the market, which are crazy right now. And the truth is, you're just being more responsible if you were to do that too. And that's what the world needs, right? The world needs more responsible traders because, again, these large liquidation levels or events, those occur because people are getting too out of control with leverage. So you can't talk sense into the rest of the world because of it, because some people will use $100 and they're going to use 100x leverage, and they're going to be okay with losing that 100 if they can make 1,000. I get that. But the margin for error is so insanely high, and the market makers know that they're going to just sweep any direction and totally destroy you. So it's just not worthwhile. I get a ton of people coming over to my community because they just get destroyed and they want more consistency. Either way, I'll share with you my trade results at another time, but we've been taking some shorts here recently with really good success. I don't like to short often, but when I do, it's usually with confirmation. We have a lot of confirming factors. Anyways, short liquidation delta is actually higher than longs. So we have more people shorting ETH than we do taking longs right now. So that's actually a good sign letting us know we're on the right side of the tracks if you're considering a short. This number isn't too high either, by the way. When that number gets overextended for a long period, that's when things start to turn around. So we're not there yet. Let's take a quick look here at open interest and just kind of see where we're at. We can recognize people have the most amount of positions on ETH at about 3230 as of the last I don't know, couple of days, ever since basically yesterday, as a matter of fact. So that means that everybody is underwater right now on their longs. Okay, so that's not a good sign either. I mean, it's good in a sense, but also bad in another. In other words, people were buying that support level that didn't hold. Okay, what I mean by support is when we zoom in, we can see this point of control here. 3180, maybe 3200 is an easy round number. That's where not only we have a fib level, but we've got the most amount of volume purchased in Ethereum at that point. In other words, it worked as a nice little support level here for the price to leg up, but people don't secure profits, price goes down, they add to their position, price goes down further, it becomes a resistance and continues lower. That's usually the common way in which points of control work, just based on the simple fact that a lot of longs are trapped now. Okay, so what longs are doing right now is they're waiting to get back to 3,200 so they can break even on their trade. When that doesn't happen, people continue to have a bad day, and these areas of liquidation continue to get hit, okay? So a lot of longs are about to have a bad day. That's just, again, my personal opinion based on the fact that Bitcoin is recovering from a decrease in value, establishing lower highs and lower lows, but with low volume. There's not a lot of volume coming in. Now, when we look at Ethereum, volume is pretty flat. I guess that's generally good depending on how you look at it, but it's not good when volume runs flat and the price is underneath a resistance, okay? So let's look at the daily time frame and just quit speculating and talk openly about what's going on here. Daily time frame is bullish, folks, okay? There's no other way around it. The macro for Bitcoin, macro for most altcoins is going to be bullish because we had a pretty monumental increase, all right? Now, what goes up must come down. You got to understand, you got to face the music at some point. And I do personally feel like a lot of alts are overinflated, and while they could and should continue higher, if Bitcoin continues to run, what happens if Bitcoin doesn't? We've seen Bitcoin dominance on the rise in the overall sense here in the last 3 or 4 days, which basically just implies that altcoins are not really worth investing in. They've been kind of drawing dead. Don't get wrong, there's meme coins were going bonkers yesterday. There's plenty of opportunity. Just in general, large market cap coins have a tendency of, they've been pulling back pretty good. Now we got 3 red days here, right? We could very well see a 4th green day tomorrow. That's possible. Oftentimes you see 3 white soldiers or 3 black crows as a pattern of reversal, but that doesn't necessarily mean too much right now. Either way you look at it here, we're looking at losing 70 on the RSI, which isn't a bad thing at all. It just means that you should have taken profits on your long position. That's what that means. So generally speaking, when you should have taken profits on a long, does that mean you open a short instantly? No. But that also implies that you should be understanding that taking a long in the blind anytime the price pulls back is a bad idea. That's also what that means too. So just some food for thought there. 4-hour time frame. Let's recognize this as well. We got the 20-day SMA. That's the 50-day SMA hanging out right there at the price action. Bitcoin's in a very similar situation. The 20-day SMA, losing that so far. So basically, losing that little transition isn't really a good sign. In other words, being below the 20-day SMA lets us know that we're on the wrong side of the tracks. We're also kind of in this descending type of trend that's running fairly concurrent with that 20-day SMA. So when you see that, you can recognize that that's generally unfavorable. It doesn't mean you short into it. It just implies taking a long doesn't make a ton of sense until we're back up above that. Okay, and the reason why is because we're establishing lower highs, right? You can kind of see that. Until we start establishing higher highs, then we can recognize the price may be continuing in the different direction. But there's patterns of reversal, and we're not seeing them yet. The first pattern we need to recognize is that we lost a range-bound activity. Okay, being range-bound is extremely important when it comes to holding a support, right? So these 2 areas are now the resistance because we lost them. Again, I just drew out some lines on the chart. Don't get me wrong, this isn't exact science, but as you can see, multiple attempts to break this level. Now we've officially broken it, and we can't get back up above. So we're now stuck under 3140/3200 is a rough estimate with that local point of control. Those are all areas of resistance for us now. They used to be support levels. And I know it's like, why the heck is that instantly a shift? How does that work? The truth is, folks, when you analyze charts day in and day out for years on end, you start to identify these patterns of reversal, and that's generally what you look for. Okay, so in a perfect world, shorting right there at 3180 would have been perfect. I wasn't awake for that, but the general consensus is that that's that point of control, that local resistance. It makes sense for the price to reject there. Okay, again, open interest, volume, those are all things that people don't really see on the charts. They're very helpful to identify. We take a look here too as well. On the 4-hour time frame, we're under 50 on the RSI. That is generally construed as a bearish sign. If you look at this here, last time we were under 50 on the RSI, holy cow, it was way down here. We can see we crossed 50 on the RSI right here, and it took us until here to get back up above. So hypothetically, you take a short from here to here, that would have been a pretty solid consideration. Again, hindsight's 20/20, a little 4% drop. That could have been, 20 to 40%, 5 to 10x leverage, for example. And those are the kind of trades I like to look for. So being under 50 on the RSI generally implies further downside is inevitable. Okay, not a guarantee, of course, but that in combination with everything else we're seeing here so far, we're starting to see some cracks in the glass, and that's just not good. Hourly time frame, this is a confirming factor I like to look for. If you watch any of my videos, you'll know Ichimoku Cloud is something that I value, mainly because it's very consistent. In other words, when the lagging span's free and clear like it is, it implies a short consideration should be considered. And we can see the conversion line below the baseline giving us good momentum on the downside. We can also recognize the cloud is working fairly concurrent with this descending trend and just basically letting us know that we are now underneath not only A, the point of control, but B, a descending type of trend, and a lot of momentous indicators letting us know that the further downside is probable. So those are little things that kind of led me to consider a short position with this coin. I think 3140 is our entry. And at this point, again, I'm not telling you to short, I'm not telling you to take a long. I'm just saying in general, most signs are pointing down right now on the hourly and majority of the 4-hour time frames. The macro, the daily time frame is absolutely going to be bullish on most coins right now. Okay, so once again, it's inherently more risky if you consider shorting right now because we're still in an overall uptrend. Bitcoin hasn't truly confirmed its breakdown, right? We haven't lost that 86, 87K support range yet. But between now and then, it's pretty obvious that altcoins are struggling a lot more than Bitcoin is, and that's usually a sign that alts are going to bleed out here soon. Those are, again, just my thoughts from some guy online that has been doing this for a very long time. I hope that this made sense. I described this correctly. I'd keep in mind I'm going to post a playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It looks a little something like this if you're not familiar. I just kind of give you, insight of different, things to look for. Also keep in mind, too, spikes in Google searches. As they continue to increase, the price of Bitcoin will usually reverse itself at some point. So I think we're in a tentative top. I don't think it's a permanent top, of course, but I do think that we're on our way down for a short while here with Bitcoin. Just some ideas, some food for thought. Last but not least, too, I don't think you know this. A lot of folks are unaware of this, but we have a 60K prize pool with Bitunix this month. Check it out. We're only halfway through the month. Awesome rewards. Top 20 members qualify automatically. So all you got to do is use the exchange. No KYC or VPN, folks. Check them out. They're awesome. Thanks again so much for your time. Look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.